I'm Ashton Addison from EventChain for Investmentpitch Media and FinTech News Network. And today on Blockchain Interviews, we have Jacobo Toll-Messia, the CEO of Nahmii and Huobi. Jacobo, nice to have you on the show. I think this is going to be a great conversation today.
Thank you, Ashton. It's a pleasure to be here.
You're very welcome. If you could kick it off by giving a little bit of background on the Nahmii project. I know that your tagline is the future of blockchain scaling, and I'd love to know a little bit more about what that means and what the project's about.
Absolutely. So we started with the project approximately 20 months ago out of pure necessity. So we have a background and history in the content space. We wanted to build a product around content, but we knew scaling was an issue. So we literally got tired of waiting for the companies to develop scaling solutions on the Ethereum network, and we ended up doing that ourselves. Once we started doing so, we realized that most of the other projects had a very different approach towards the scaling. They were focused only on TPS or throughput, and we took a more holistic approach, and that's how Nahmii was born, whereby we not only fix throughput, but also latency, finality, and the transaction fees.
That sounds great, Jacobo. And I've personally been using the Ethereum network for almost 5 years now, and I've experienced it when it's fast and when it's slow. And don't get me wrong, it's a great network, but at its worst, I did have transactions that were held up for days at a time when the network was backlogged. And so if you could elaborate for the audience a little bit about what are the exact problems that is going on currently with the Ethereum network and how exactly you've provided those solutions.
So the blockchain by itself, if it is an open, decentralized blockchain, it is always going to be slow for the time being. That is the way it is assigned. It is not designed for speed. It is designed for security and other things, other attributes. Now, the way we have fixed it is by building what is called a layer 2 solution, which consists on taking transactions from the main chain into a different layer. In this case, it's Nahmii. And which, yes, it is also centralized today. But on the layer 2, transactions can happen fast, the finality is immediate, and there is no latency. Furthermore, we also have the possibility of really knowing how much a transaction is going to cost to a user before it happens. Now, those transactions, eventually, once you want to withdraw from the protocol, will be committed back to the main chain. And the way we have been able to do that is by building this layer 2, which still it is a non-custodial solution, meaning that we don't hold people's money. You basically deposit money into a smart contract. And then from the layer 2 and the applications built on top of the layer 2, you can access those monies and those resources. Mm-hmm. So today we have a product called Huobi Core, which it is basically a wallet manager that also allows you to perform payments on the Nahmii network. So you can deposit money, and then from there you can access that money onto the Nahmii layer and then perform payments, which are fast, cheap, and with immediate finality.
Mm-hmm. And I know that Ethereum has had these scaling issues since its inception, essentially. Aren't there other possible layer 2 solutions that you're competing with as well? And what makes Nahmii so special and unique?
So yeah, there are many other solutions being built on right now. We were particularly waiting for Plasma, which was, I think it's a project from almost ago. Yeah. And what makes us different is the most immediate point that comes to my head is that Nahmii is built today. So quite a bit of those other projects are still on the whiteboard or are being developed. Our solution has been on mainnet for 10 months now. The other thing that makes it very different is that we don't only fix that scalability issue that we were talking about before, mm-hmm. but also fixes the latency and the finality of the transactions. And again, the predictability of the fees. And what is even a major point in terms of differentiation between our solution and the other solutions being built is that the architecture of the protocol, the architecture of Nahmii, it is quite generalized. Mm-hmm. And that allows us to port Nahmii to other blockchains to be able to build an interoperability bridge. And that is also a phenomenal upside of our architecture.
Mm-hmm. Interoperability is definitely great to have. And another must-have, I would say, is user experience and front-end interfaces. How is Nahmii doing with the user experience as we're trying to grow the adoption of the Ethereum network? Is it as easy to use for somebody who isn't familiar with Ethereum or with blockchains, or is it quite technical still?
That is a wonderful question. Now, to be able to achieve a good user experience, so that represents a completely different level of abstraction. So first of all, and going back to the previous question that you asked, something else we have done that separates us from the other solutions is that we have pretty powerful and pretty simple, straightforward developer tools. Now, these developer tools ought to be used by developers, and then these developers can build those products that you're referring to. Mm-hmm. Now, those developers will build whatever the designers have given them or their bosses have told them to build, and that will be represented in a specific user experience. It is true that the user experience today is below average in the crypto world. Mm-hmm. There are too clunky and complex interfaces. Mm-hmm. And we would like to think, in fact, we're seeing that, over the last 18 months, we're seeing that some of the products being built today are better, are easier to use. Mm-hmm. Now, the product we have built, which is Core, it is still targeting crypto enthusiasts, but we're working with other companies like, for example, MBX and Region Block Exchange, which shall be building a product called MBX Pay, which is targeting users of the airline industry. And those guys do not have any crypto experience, or at least we should assume that they shall not have any crypto experience. Consequently, that interface that has to be built, it has to be like any other payment solution in the world, right? Mm-hmm. So think about PayPal, think about here in Norway, you have a product called Vipps, which is very successful and is very simple. So you don't need to know anything about gas, you don't need to know anything about transactions or anything like that. Simply put, you should enter your details, have access to your balance, and be able to perform quick payments.
Mm-hmm. That's great to hear, Jacobo, because that's definitely key in the growing adoption. Now, congratulations that Nahmii has been launched. It sounds like you guys have done 20 months of hard development to get to this point. And I'm curious to know what is next. Are there more upgrades and developments on that network? And what's in the development roadmap? Or are you guys good to go?
Excellent question. You never stop finishing, or you never stop developing a product, right? So the moment somebody says the product is built, that means the product is obsolete. So that is a kind of a basic premise in the software world. Mm-hmm. What is next for us is interoperability. So we have right now signed an agreement with a very large blockchain company that would like us to port Nahmii to the blockchain. That means we will then be building interoperability, and then we will have a very easy mechanism and interface to be able to access resources of both of those two blockchains, Ethereum plus this other one. Mm-hmm. And equally, we will be porting it to other blockchains. I think that the interoperability play is easier to say it is important than really comprehend how important it is. Mainly because when you were mentioning before how immature some of these products are, which really are, it is also important to comprehend that if you would like to develop as a developer or as a company, if you would like to develop solutions for 2 or 3 blockchains, you actually need a lot of resources and a lot of knowledge and a lot of time and money to do so. Through Nahmii, you will be able to do that through a single interface. So it will be pretty seamless and pretty straightforward. So whoever wants to build a game or a payment solution or exchange or whatnot, you will have that single point of entry, which would be an interface. And then you will be able to pick easily which blockchain you would like to work with behind the scenes. So that is something we will be focused on for the next many months. And also at the same time, we will be working closely with our partners, in this case MBX and Microsoft. With Microsoft, we will be going to market. We will be co-selling the protocol to their customers. And with MBX, we'll be paying a special attention to MBX Pay, which is hopefully one of the biggest products that will be adopted in the crypto world.
Great. Well, congratulations. Now, When I think of interoperability, and a lot of people that are in the blockchain industry that have heard of layer 2 solutions, usually the first thing they think of is with Bitcoin and Litecoin and the Lightning Network. Is that something that's in the roadmap for interoperability with Nahmii?
Excellent question. The answer is we would like and we will be porting Nahmii to Bitcoin. It will not be with Lightning, no. It will be most likely with Rootstock. Although we also have a second opportunity there, which is also something we have been working on. Rootstock is a company in Argentina, and what they have done is they have ported the Ethereum virtual machine to Bitcoin, to the Bitcoin blockchain. That allows companies like us to run smart contracts in Bitcoin. So we will be able to port Nahmii that way. Now, that would again add a phenomenal value to the overall ecosystem of Nahmii. Yeah.
Definitely. Congratulations on that when that does happen. And I have spoken to Diego from Rootstock, and I know that their project has been coming for a long time, and they have a lot of great things. So hopefully that works out for you guys. So I'll look forward to that. And my next question is this a foundation, or is there a revenue model, and how are you going to sustain the company moving forward?
So the product Nahmii has been funded by us, by Huey, has been built by us, and today we are the sole operator of the system. Now, what we're building, what we're setting up is a foundation, and we currently have 3 companies in the foundation. One of them is Huey, the other one is MBX, and the other one is Liquid, the cryptocurrency exchange in Japan. Now, what we are going to do is transition towards a foundation model whereby we will have multiple operators, not only one, not only us, but also MBX, Liquid, and more companies to come. In terms of how are we going to make money from it, it's going to be through transaction fees, right? So hopefully we will have dozens and dozens of companies developing solutions on top of Nahmii. Those solutions will generate transactions, and the transactions will incur in transaction fees. And the way Huey as a company is going to make money, it is by holding the NEED tokens, which will allow us to earn those transaction fees. The foundation, the way will make money as well. It will be, or the way it will subsidize itself, it will be also by holding tokens, which again will incur or will allow the foundation to earn the transaction fees.
Great. And you guys are live in the market right now. So are you just looking for more people to do transactions, or are you looking for more strategic partners, or more smart investors? What exactly are you looking for growth?
Actually, we're looking for those 3 things. So first of all, we do need those key partners. It is not so much about quantity. It is more about quality. What we are looking for are those specific companies that do have the need of building a product, because they do have potentially millions of customers, of millions of users. And we're also looking for the smart money that can come in and open up doors for us. So smart money is not only direct investment per se, it is also being able to connect the dots and seeing or comprehending the overall status of the industry and seeing that the product is built and that there is a demand, but they have the ability to connect those 2 things, right? Sometimes we as a company, which we are very small, we are too focused on building the product and going to market. We don't have that holistic understanding of all those key players, what they're looking for and whatnot. Although we work we work a lot, but still we do need to work with those guys that have got a better understanding of the entire industry.
And what would you say is the biggest obstacle or challenge that you may face as you guys continue to grow?
I would say that what we really need is visibility in the crypto world. So the industry is terribly mature still. By all means, I know that. I mean, I have personally been involved for about 2 years now, or 2.5 years in this industry, and I've seen some really promising changes. But in reality, it's still very much a greenfield, right? So you have about 90+% of the players that are temporary players are only here for quick money, and then they get out. And then you have the small minority that are actually building, really comprehend that this is going to be a 5 or 10 year play. And then you have even a smaller minority, which are the observers, which try to figure out what is going to be next and when would be a good time for us to get into the market. So because we have been literally working behind closed doors for nearly 2 years, we do not have that footprint, and people doesn't really know that much about us. And that is undoubtedly our biggest weakness today.
Visibility is definitely key, and marketing on top of strong development. You need to have both, but that's definitely going to drive adoption. So all the best in that. And as you did mention, you're looking for strategic partners, customers, and more people to join onto the platform. How can they get a hold of you or learn more about Nahmii?
The easiest way would be to get into our Telegram group. We have a very small Telegram group. We are always open for questions. We have actually found quite a bit of really cool people through the Telegram group. We have even established some of the partnerships through that method. And also, I would say that Telegram is the best way, or just on Twitter directly. We are very easy to find. We don't hide too much.
Sounds great. I'll leave those links in the description box below. And that's all the time that we have for this interview, Jacobo, but I really appreciate the time, and let's follow up in the near future.
Thank you, Ashton. It was a real pleasure. Thank you for having me.